Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is Carmina coming at you with another video related to exploring the meanings of each and every one of the cards in the common yet not so common playing card deck. And today, as you can see here, we are going to be focusing on the Eight of Spades. And before that, let me remind you guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can do so right now. You can also give this video a thumbs up in advance, why not? And if you want to get a copy of the card deck that I'm using for these videos, you can find the details of doing so in the link. And if you want to get some classes with me, we'll be starting on Saturday, January 19. It will happen in the morning US time. It's going to be either 9, 10, or 11, depends on where you are in the US. And it's going to be between 5 and actually between 4 and 6 p.m. in Europe. So let me know if you want to join these classes. And now let's get to interpreting the Eight of Spades. So today is an Eight of Spades day. It's Sunday. And we are still under the influence of the partial solar eclipse that started yesterday. So these two spades couldn't be more suitable for the energy of the eclipse, because yesterday we were talking about the Nine of Clubs, which has the energy of the South Node, because that numerologically relates to the nines, and the South Node is actually covering the Sun. And today we have an Eight of Spades, which has the energy of the North Node. And yeah, so the North Node is always a path that is confusing to us, a path that we need to move towards, and that we really haven't spent much time developing, because there's always an imbalance in the chart. People tend to spend time more on doing South Node things because they're more familiar. So there's this imbalance of power. So we need to balance things out by pursuing the things indicated by the North Node. And this Eight of Spades has the North Node energy, and especially a North Node in a fire sign, because the Eight of Spades corresponds to the fire element. So it would be like the North Node in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And the North Node in a fire sign, as to correlate it with the Eight of Spades, would be the need to develop individuality, because spades are all about individuality. The fire signs are very individual. They are the Dharma signs. It's the own path of the individual. It's the true self of the individual. So this Eight of Spades is also, of course, a solitary card, because the spades are self-focused. And the Eight of Spades in Tarot corresponds to the Chariot. But as we were discussing at the Eight of Clubs, it's more the outer journey, the air travel, travel to conferences or for intellectual reasons. It's a more worldly travel, while the Eight of Spades is a more introspective travel. It's the inner journey. It's taking time to realize what is true about our deep self, who we are, like outside of the other suits, because the spades, of course, is the most personal suit, who we are when we are alone. That's kind of what the Eight of Spades is. So the good part about the Eight of Spades is being fired up, having the energy to take this inner journey, and being self-validated, not requiring other people's validation from it. And of course, the 8 is always, because it corresponds to the North Node, it can grant wishes. So if we are brave enough to be honest with ourselves and take the inner journey, then we can get to the divine friendship, because the 8 of Spades would be like the friendship with the self and with the body. And then at the 9 of Spades, we reach kind of the divine friendship. And this 8 of Spades stage is very important because it's one that takes courage. It's one that takes kind of time. So you need patience to do it. But it can also be very rewarding, inwardly rewarding. And in cases that you see an 8 of Spades that is reversed, that can be a tougher combination, because then it means that the fire within, it's kind of crushed. It feels that, it means that the person feels stuck. The 8 of Spades can also be, if it's adversely influenced, it can be even as far as the person being in a coma state. So at best, the reversed 8 of Spades is like a delay, or like the person just feeling stuck, or at the worst case, the person can be really physically stuck. So it's a hampering of the inner fire, of the inner spark that burns with the person's individuality. And if we look at the, of course, the 8 is an integral part of energy. It's an integral part of the energy of the King of Spades, along with the 7 and the 9 of Spades. So it's part of this final stage of realization. And if we consider the underlying and overlying cards, the underlying cards for the 8 of Spades is the King of Clubs. So that is something, a past energy that the 8 of Spades developed from. And that is the energy of reaching a certain high level, an elite level with your knowledge, being like a university degree professor, like a PhD, like a very respected and skilled astrologer, something like that. But the overlying card for the 8 of Spades is the 6 of Clubs. So again, a member of the club suit, but the 6 of Clubs is more validation from society with your inspiration. So once the energy of the 8 of Spades is achieved, then the natural aspiration goes towards the 6 of Clubs, of validation, of success with one's ideas. So worldly validation, receiving the best that the world can offer regarding your success with your career, with your profession, with your inspiration. And now let's check out the spread. Oh, and let me just tell you that there are 3 8 of Spades days in the year, and these are January 6, February 4, and March 2nd after sunrise at your place of birth. If you are born before sunrise in one of these days, it means you're a 9 of Spades. Now let's see the spread. Okay, so the 8 of Spades has the ecliptic, has the path of the Queen of Spades. So these people will meet in their path very strong, tough, cruel, independent women. And they themselves have to be also more self-reliant, more self-validating. Then, because it's an 8, we also look at the North Node card because it's emphasized. And the North Node card is a 7 of clubs. So what they need to work towards is letting go of ideas that are no longer necessary. If we look at the sun card, the moon card, we have two red aces. So the kingdom they are building is created on falling in love with new things, new devotions, new emotions, the Ace of Hearts, so desires for love, for emotional connection, for family. That's the Sun card. And the Moon card, the Ace of Diamonds, is they adapt to life by starting a new concrete skill. And the Ace of Diamonds can also be a real estate card, so maybe these people will get into real estate. But of course, a lot of other factors have to concur with that. Now we see here the Queen of Diamonds on the Mars card. That's very good, because when a problem arises, these people will tend to take care of it in a very efficient and concrete manner. They will try to find concrete solutions that will take care of that crisis, that accident. Of course, we are now looking at just half of the picture, because it also matters where the planets are placed, and that is different for every person, because some people, for instance, this hypothetical chart that I'm sharing now, they have Mars here in the Queen of Diamonds card, which is great, but somebody else can have the Mars card in, let's say, the Nine of Hearts. So their assertiveness, their martial energy would be manifested half the time in a more emotional manner. So yeah, always take that into consideration. I'm not giving like the ultimate truth here about your particular chart, because your particular chart is differently positioned than another person's chart. Okay, now we look at the Mercury card. We see a 5 of hearts there. A lot of hearts in this spread, right? So the Mercury card is how the person organizes their life, how the person communicates, what the person's friends are like. And it's kind of dominated by an emotional crisis about a change of heart, changeable things, changeable emotions here. So their manner of organizing their lives is very dependent on their emotional state. And now let's see the Jupiter card. This is their relationship with children. This is how they envision the greater plans of life, how their optimism is in, you know, the fate and the bigger picture. And the Three of Clubs is a good card to have in the Jupiter position. It means they are independent thinkers. They tackle these problems with a more independent point of view. And with children, they are not, of course, it also depends where Jupiter is for each person, but here they have a more not too clingy attitude with children, so to say. It's a more, you know, it's more like friendly rivalry, like kind of contradictions of ideas, things like that. But it's a good card to have on the Jupiter placement, again, because conflicts and, you know, like some more battles of ideas are averted. Now the Venus card is a bit more difficult. I think we were looking even at the 10 of Spades, and the 10 of Spades was having a 5 of Spades on the Venus card. I forgot what the 9 of Spades had on the Venus card, but I think it was also kind of a 10th card. And here we see the 3 of Spades. So these 8 of Spades people are attracted to partners that are very independent. and they are, which are also a bit argumentative, and they are a bit warrior-like. And they also like more, you know, overcoming difficulties. Although they may complain, they can't live without it. That's what satisfies them. Having a bit of a battle. Yes, because the Three of Spades is a very martial card. It's like Mars in a fire sign, like Mars in Aries. So that energy is connected to their relationships, to their preferences. Okay, then we see the Nine of Hearts there, and the Nine of Hearts is surrendering to divine love. It's a very spiritual card. On the Saturn card, there they can have obstructions to that, they can have delays to that, they can have a misunderstanding of what spirituality, of what divine love is. They might have some ideals that are not in line, you know, like with what true spirituality is. So their spirituality can be a little twisted. The South Node then, in the Five of Diamonds, it shows past life, of changing their land, past life of dealing with money, with a lot of money, because the Five of Diamonds is a very financial card. Yeah, a very mercantile past. And we already discussed that they need to develop letting go of ideas, of intellectual concepts that are not working. That's what they're working on. Then we see that nice Jack of Clubs in the Uranus card, and we know that the Jacks correspond to the Uranus energy, so that's a great card for them there. So these Eight of Spades people are really people that have the capacity to pioneer things, to pioneer intellectual things for the collective. The Nine of Diamonds there in the Neptune card is how they deeply relate to the world, and they deeply relate to the world when they are paying attention to the omens of the world, when they are being charitable, generous, when they have a lot of expenses, because all that is symbolized by the Nine of Diamonds. And there on the Pluto card, they have a Seven of Spades. So Seven of Spades is a breakdown of the body. But in a way, it's good to have that energy on the Pluto card because they can make sense of it. So in crisis situation, when their body is not working anymore, when their individuality, when they are being surpassed by other people and they feel a little bit victimized, then Pluto purifies them, because of course the Seven of Spades has this burning connotation, and the Pluto there helps make sense of the flames. Okay, that's about it for today. We will continue tomorrow with the Seven of Spades. And let me know if you guys have any Eight of Spades in your, birth spread, or if you're an Eight of Spades birth card, because these people are pretty rare. If you want to get one of the card decks, please do so, because I have about 40 left. And I don't know when I'm gonna issue another edition, because I'm already conceiving in my head another deck that's gonna be more metaphorical. So that's gonna be interesting. And then if you are interested in going deeper into learning the cards of truth, you can take the classes with me. We're gonna have 10 classes starting January 19th. They're gonna happen every Saturday. It's gonna be morning in the US and evening in Europe. Okay, so it's gonna happen every Saturday, an hour and a half each class, and we're gonna be between 5 and 10 people, so everyone will have a chance to talk and ask their questions. So it's not gonna be a beginner class, it's gonna be a more intermediate class, okay? Okay, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.